Hello my friends, and welcome back to part 4. Today, we add a mechanic what allows us to evade into the direction from inputs. Without that our player rotates 360 degree in world space, instead our player follows the camera shot's rotation. Let's get started. First we add a new empty object to our movements holder. Let's name it Directional Evades. With the object selected, let's hit Add Component in the inspector. We only need a trigger today. Before we set them up, let's jump into our input action asset to create a new input for it. Let's hit the first plus. Then just like last time, give it a name, and assign your wish keys. Once you have it, don't forget to save it, then we go back to our trigger. Here we can now set on input. But this time we replace the jump with on input action start. Now we can assign our new input. Now, let's add our logic. First we add check conditions to set a couple rules. Also we add dash. So let's create some checks by hit on add condition. Firstly we check that our character is our player. So let's add is player. As second rule, we check that our player is on ground. So we add is grounded. And as last we add is move. This makes sure that our player goes into that direction before execute our logic. That helps a lot if you come on the input, but you don't wanted it for example. It just does nothing and smooths out your gameplay feel. Let's set up our dash. Firstly we need to assign an animation for each direction you want to set up. If you want for example, don't do a forward evade or dash, just let the field empty. First let me import some of my animations. Then we assign them to the specific fields. Optional you can adjust the dumping curve. What gives you a nice control, how your evades feel and look. After you have your wish set up, it's time for a test. And now we come to the main part for today. We can now see that our player, doesn't matter what we do, will always do a dash forward, or mix two dashes at same time. So let me explain first. Currently, our player faces always the z-axis in world space. And in our dash we have it set to moving direction. But because our player's rotation looks always forward, it does of course only dash forward. What we now do, we tell our player's rotation to follow always the camera, instead of rotate freely, its own pivot. To start, we firstly set the moving direction to input direction. Be carefully here, you have two different ones. The one with the yellow icon is the correct one. Once you have it, we click on the player, and go into the rotation section. Here we click on the green icon, and hit object direction. By default it should be already the main camera selected, if not search for it. That's it. Let's check again. Now you can click in any direction and enjoy a nice mechanic, combined into one single game object. That's it for today my friends, hope all learned something new today. We see us in the next part. US Studios signing out.
I don't wanna see you, I don't wanna hear you tonight. I don't wanna fight you, you don't wanna know if I feel alright. I don't wanna just forgive you, I just wanna be fine. I'll be waiting for a sign to light up, yeah. And your heart is out of sight, I just wanna feel mine.